Gordon. Hello, Gordon. Can you hear me?
Hey, Vic.
Glad you made it, Gordon.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, good. I'm on my phone. For some reason, my computer has not connected me yet.
Well, I'm over at my daughter's house. She's got me set up here.
Good for you.
Yeah.
You doing well?
Been doing okay. How have you been, Gordon?
Okay. Better than I deserve.
I guess. Yeah.
Anything new down there?
Well, let's see. There's Mr. Bob. Hello, Bob.
How you doing there, Vic?
Got Gordon and Vic and Bob.
I'll see if I can get something off here I have in the way.
Now, Bob, I
can see you now.
I'm having trouble hearing you, Bob.
You have? Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you now.
I can. Okay. I was going to look and see where you turned the volume up here. I'll hit it over here a little bit and see if it helps.
It's pretty good.
Did that help any?
That's good. Yeah.
Okay. I'll get my finger off of that button. I have time. I just got back from Columbus. My grandson's birthday was 49th, so
49. Well,
had to go up and visit him a little bit and everything. Hi, Gordon. I haven't seen you for a while.
Hi, Bob. Good to see you.
I was wondering if your machine was down or you were out of town.
I'm on the phone because my computer, for some reason, has not connected me yet. It shows me the preview. I can see myself on the screen, but I can't see anybody else yet.
Oh.
So maybe it'll connect when Jeremy gets on. I don't know.
Okay, well, maybe you think Jeremy could fix that thing at home. Bring it down here. I'm in good with the guys up in the library. They work on the computers up there, he and his son, and they fixed me up. Mine was all screwed up, and they took care of me.
All right.
Well, this computer usually works all right, and I do a lot of calls. I'm on Zoom and Microsoft Teams and everything else. I have meetings, it seems like 2 or 3 every week. But for some reason, this one has not connected yet.
Timmy Eade, are you on? His name is up here, but I don't hear him.
Yeah, I see Timothy there. Timothy and Eade, huh? I don't think and his middle name.
I didn't think so.
I was looking at an old yearbook here. It's of 1940 and stuff, and some of the things was advertised on there: English State Bank, E.K. Roggenkamp, Green and Adkins, at Berlin's. I think that was at Paola. Do you remember them?
I don't remember Berlin's.
Had a lot of them. Moore's Restaurant. I think that was a honky tonk.
Yep, that's right.
An Ohio View. Swearing and Adams. Had the English Milling Company, Brown's Cafe, and the JC. Vogue's Beauty Shop, run by Alberta Cobalt. You remember her? That was Shardy Cobalt's daughter.
I do remember her. Yeah.
Has another, I think, Turner's Ice Cream. Was that from Paola? Do you remember?
Oh, no.
Turner. They used to deliver ice cream there in English. and Barksdale, James E. Turley, Roberts Monument. I know that one.
Yes, sir. I bet you do.
It had service garage, mobile. That might have been an Abe something or other.
There's Ron Kissel just logged in. How you doing, Ron?
Well, hi, Ron.
Hey there.
Can you hear us, Ron?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Loud and clear.
Yeah.
An English hardware company.
What's going
Claude
on?
Poe.
Hello, Jeremy.
Says who?
There he is, loud and clear. Big
Hi,
smile on
Jeremy.
his face. How's Jeremy?
Now it's true. You can see
Oh,
me and you can hear me. Careful what you ask for, guys.
You're coming in loud and clear. Has
Good.
anybody heard from Della May?
I talked to her just a few minutes ago on the phone. She said
Okay.
she's going to try to be on the call with us.
Okay.
I called to remind her.
Who's Della May?
Della May Starr.
Yeah, who was she married to?
She was married to a boy from Salem,
Williams boy from
but
Salem.
they were divorced and everything and stuff. But she was in Gordon's class, I think.
That's right.
What did
And Vic, Vic was in the class.
Vic,
Who did,
Gordon, and Della.
Do you remember Perry Starr?
yes.
Sure do.
Okay,
Yeah.
it was his daughter.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, okay. They lived out there beyond Terrence Island Flats, didn't they?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah.
Hey, you know her now.
Yeah.
I had an older sister named Rosemary.
Yeah.
And Bob Starr and Ralph was killed in World War II.
What
That's
was our coach's name when I was a freshman? Big guy.
Dotson.
Dodson. I thought he married.
He married Jesse. He married Rosemary.
He married Rosemary, that's
I knew
right.
something
Rosemary.
there. Yeah, okay. My mind is not right.
Join the meeting.
Yeah, that's John Betty Dodson.
Yeah. He was a freshman. When I was a freshman, he was a coach. Yeah.
Now, do you remember who Ben Dotson was engaged to while he was teaching at English? Not Rosemary, but somebody else?
No.
The Miller girl. What was Miller's first name? Maxine Miller. Remember her?
Yeah, I remember her. Yeah.
That was a little bit scandalous. I think she was a senior in high school and he was engaged to her.
Yeah.
Well, hello, Della May.
Speak of the Della.
We've missed you, young lady.
Della, can you hear us? Apparently she can't hear us.
Hey, there we go. Hi, here.
Hello, Della.
Have a picture of you, gal.
Yep, I'm here.
All
There she
right.
is. Yeah.
All right.
We've just ran your history.
I'm sorry. What?
Well, who you were married to at Salem, and then Ron came up by and he thought that John Benny Dodson married, and I said, no, that was her sister. But when I said you were Perry Starr's daughter, they brought him home.
Do you remember me? Do you remember me?
Help, give me a clue.
I was Ray Kissel's dad. Son.
Ray Kissel's there.
Son.
Ron Kissel.
Ron Kissel.
Mark. Your brother Joe. Your brother Joe, right?
No.
Oh,
What was your sister's name?
Rosemary.
Yeah.
no,
Mr.
Ron,
Kissel's sister was Judy.
Judy Kissel. You remember Judy Kissel?
She was a lot younger. She was 8 years younger than I am.
Yeah, she's younger.
She was close to my age, if anybody can hear me.
I hear you loud and clear. Wow, Mel Beasley too.
There's Jeremy. Hi, Jeremy.
Hi, Della. Happy to see you and hear you. And John and Mike Flanigan should be joining as well. So we're really going to have a full house.
Here comes somebody else, I think.
Jeremy, I did see a message from John. He said he could not join us today.
Was that today or was that last month?
That might have been last month. I just saw the message, but
There's John.
might have been last week.
Hello there.
Fake news,
Hello, John.
Jordan.
Hi, John.
Hey, John.
Hello. Hello.
There's Mike. Hello, Mike. Michael Pale.
Victor Megenity.
That's right, Michael.
Hi, Mike.
Sir.
Timmy Eade, are you there?
I am here. Can you hear me?
We can hear you, but we can't see you.
That's right. I don't have video.
Okay.
All I have is just voice. So.
All right. All right.
Is that okay?
That'll have to work. Yes, sir.
I'm enjoying listening to your exchanges there.
Andy?
So,
Tim, you had some comments that you messaged to me after, not last month, but the month before, about some of the conversation that was going on. And I meant to mention it last month, but everyone was doing so well, not needing any interference from me. So I didn't revisit that. But you were talking about, you said you lived in the Newkirk's house, which that's actually really interesting because my grandmother, Carol, was most recently married to Don Staniford, and I've been helping her to return some of his, a lot of books more than anything to his daughters. And we found a box that was labeled Newkirk's house. And we found a box of items from it that she doesn't know if they belong to the Historical Society or if Donnie, if they in fact were Donnie's. So she's gonna find out from the Historical Society, but that must be the house that you lived in, Tim.
The person that she needs to talk to would be Woodrow Newkirk's son, who lives up in the house where Vic Megenity grew up.
That's right.
What's his name? He married a manship, but he was closer to your age. You remember Vic?
I'm trying to think. Yeah, he bought in 1968. He bought our old family home up on Hillside Drive.
That's
Yeah.
Russell Newkirk.
Russell, that's who it is. Russell Newkirk. Yep. That's
Russell, thank you so much.
Yep. Russell Newkirk.
I think he was in my mother's class.
No, Woody Newkirk probably was. Russell's about 80, probably.
Okay, well, my mom.
Is Russell 80? Oh boy.
Yeah,
time
my
flies.
mom graduated in 33. Yeah.
John,
the other thing too was Mr. Kissel's. Ray was trying to recognize. You had pictures of the house where his wife or his mother grew, right above the school.
Yeah,
and he couldn't recognize it because at the time it was just a little tiny house. It was like 2 rooms up and 2 rooms down. It was so small. And after even when I was living there back in the 70s or 80s, they started building onto that place, and it looks from the picture it's huge now, but at the time it was considered tiny, but plenty of room for anybody that needed room. 5 people. But that was the other thing that I commented on.
Yeah, my grandfather built that house.
Yes, he did. And so now he was a Nash.
Yeah, Charlie Nash.
Charlie Nash. Is that any relation to Dutch Nash?
No, not at all.
None at all then. Okay.
Was that one of the pictures from my Uncle John's Smug Mug gallery that I was showing that before buildings were demolished?
The picture, what you did was you were showing East Fifth Street from above, like a,
oh yeah,
you know, one of those.
Aerial.
Okay, the aerial view.
By the
and
school.
You come up past the school, and you were looking to see it, and nobody could recognize it and so I was like, you know, I couldn't hear. I had sound that was going crazy. I guess today's much better. And so it, you know, I couldn't let you know that, yes, where the house was, because I knew where it was. I knew what it looked like. But he would never recognize it by any means of imagination.
No, I have a picture of English Main Street. It was probably after they poured the concrete and everything, 35 or 36. If you can get that at and look at it, I'm not for sure whether you can pick it up or not, but you might be able to. Can you see that?
No.
No. It's blank.
Hold it up a little higher and cover your face basically and bring it back towards you. We're seeing some of it now. You just need to
raise it up, raise it up more, raise it up more.
More. Right there, hold it.
There
right
you are.
Yeah.
Now we can see it.
What year was that?
That was probably 35 or 36.
Yeah, I was born in 36.
Tell by the automobiles there.
Yep. There's the bank on the left.
I just thought you might like to see that.
Sure.
Yeah.
I enjoyed. I did. Hey, Michael, technical question. On my iPad, every once in a while, I get a blank screen with a green circle in the middle with a phone on it. What's going on?
That's just audio, right?
That is correct. That's my name is Tim Eade. I'm calling from New Hampshire, and that's how it comes up because I do not have video. All I have is voice. Okay. And so, Della, that's what's happening. And another thing, Della, you said that, Della, you also said Perry Starr's related to you?
He was my dad, yes.
He was your father, okay. I remember him up on 37.
Yes,
that's where I grew up. Had a tin shop there.
The tin shop, yes. Used to go through that.
That was up past Torrance Allen's, right?
Yes.
Torrance Allen's, and then his next place.
No, was it? Yeah, okay. I remember we used to speed down through there because they call it the flats is about 2 miles long. You really get some speed up down there because Crawford County is so crooked, you know.
Are you talking about Allen? Mr. Allen?
Yeah.
I remember my dad saying one day he got behind, what was Allen's first name?
Torrance.
Okay, my dad got behind him one day going to English, and my dad said, if I were going to hell, I'd want to go faster than
that. One of his daughters, Roberta, was in my class.
Barbara Allen?
Roberta.
Yeah.
And they had twins, Lola, Bill, Fred.
Yeah, there was a bunch of them.
There's a swimming hole out there too.
He had about a dozen kids.
Yeah, there was a swimming hole by Torrance Allen across the road over there. We used to go swimming in there. And I remember Doug, your brother there, Vic, he made up like a spear gun, and he had a mask on. He went down and speared some bass underneath that old root tree down there. Yeah,
I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
I've got a picture I want to show if you can see it.
Oh yeah.
You know what? And I've got other control. I can actually pin it so everyone can see it. So I'm gonna be more proactive about
Okay.
that.
All right. Does anyone see Della Star there?
Yeah. Okay. I see her. There she is. Yep. Cheerleader.
47-48, 8th grade basketball team won the county tourney. Who's holding the trophy in the middle?
Is that me on the left of Mary Edith?
Yes.
Well, that's kind of cute, wasn't
it? Who's this guy right here?
Della, you haven't changed.
Oh, bless you.
Who's holding the trophy?
Their faces aren't clear on your big picture.
Oh, okay.
Who's holding the trophy, do you know?
That's Eugene McMail.
Okay.
Oh, my.
Yeah.
That's Bunk.
There's Merle Stevenson right next to him in the center of the picture.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bunk McMail's brother in that picture?
Was Jake Zier about that time too?
No, Zier was ahead of this time.
Okay, thank you. But that's interesting. I like that.
I was in that picture.
Who's this guy right here?
I can't see his face. Move him up.
Raise it up a little bit.
Bobby Mason.
Right.
Who?
Bobby Mason.
Bob Mason. He's with us today, isn't he?
Yeah, I'm on here.
There he is.
Okay, there's me, Mary Edith, and who's the gal next to Mary Edith on the other side? That gal. Who's that?
Doris.
That would be
Doris.
Ferguson. Doris Ferguson.
Doris B?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Now, who was the coach of that team?
Godfrey.
George Megenity, George Hester Megenity. There he is in the very back. And I never saw him have a basketball in his hand in my life.
Raise it up just a little bit. That's the best picture you've had so far.
Yeah, there he is.
Vic, are we going to be able to get together this summer?
That's what I was going to say. The whole class of 52 needs to get together sometime in the next few weeks. The whole class of 52 is together right now, by the way. Gordon, Della, and Vic were the last remaining members of the class of 52. So real quick, when do you guys want to get together? We'll hash that out a little later, maybe. Gordon, what do you think?
Yeah, let's settle on a date. Let's do that. That sounds great.
All right. If you guys want to come down, we'll stay at my house. The rates are very reasonable. $50 a night, not too bad.
If we
include breakfast,
coffee only. That price, coffee only.
If Gordon and I bring food, is the rate reduced?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, I tell you what.
Do you put roses on the pillows and champagne glasses?
Not on Gordon's pillow.
Well, not on mine either, but still, yeah, it might do us all a bit of good, huh?
No, we'll work that out between the three of us in the next 3 or 4 days.
Okay.
You know, I think I'm the baby of the bunch here. I'm 84. The rest of you guys are a lot older than that, right?
That's right. That's right. John, how's the weather in beautiful Hawaii?
It's beautiful.
As usual.
The trouble is it's been beautiful too long and there's not enough water. We need some rain.
Oh, boy. Yeah.
New England's going through the same thing.
You're on your porch out there, aren't you?
What is that?
See, John, you're on your porch, right?
On my back deck. Yeah, that's right.
My back deck. Pretty out there, yeah.
How far are you from downtown Honolulu, John?
Oh, 15 minutes.
15 minutes, okay.
Just drive over the mountain and there we are.
You've been to all, are there 7 islands that make up the state of Hawaii?
Depends on your count, but yeah, that's about right.
Okay. Have you been, how many of them have you been to?
Well, I've been to the Big Island, I've been to Maui, Lanai, Molokai, I've been to Kauai, live on Oahu. So
I was on Oahu and Maui several years ago. The only thing I hated about it was a long flight. We left Hawaii about 5:30 in the afternoon and got to Atlanta like the next morning. And that's too long a flight for me. I don't like that.
I was in Hawaii in '68 coming back from Vietnam. We stopped in there and refueled. Yeah.
May I ask John what time he has now?
What time? It's 11:20.
Yeah. Okay, I was just wondering since it's 5 o'clock in our Eastern time zone.
Yeah, right.
So about 6 hours difference.
Is it AM or PM?
Oh, AM.
Oh, okay.
We don't change our clock. So we change from 6 o'clock, from 6 hours difference to 5 hours difference, depending on whether you're on past time or not.
I'm getting a picture on Gordon Husk that's different, and I know it's not him. Can somebody talk to me about that?
I believe it is him.
Yeah,
got his Shriner's hat on. Gordon, that's you, isn't it?
I often wondered who that girl is.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering.
Which picture do you have there?
It was you with the Shriner's cap on and a young lady next to you.
And you are cozy.
Oh, I can't see it, so I don't know which picture it is.
It's not coming up. You didn't just put it up, huh?
I didn't intend to. I don't know.
It was, I think if Gordon, if your video was disabled, it's what your like profile photo is.
You bring it back up so maybe he could remember her.
Yeah.
I have a lot of power, but I don't have the power to do that.
Okay.
I can see you guys, but I didn't see the picture.
Well, you had the Shriner on, and she was a young lady, and
but it's probably
an old picture.
It was Miriam, right?
No, I think it must be my granddaughter. Was she wearing a black dress?
No. This was when you were like a teenager. I think it was Miriam.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't think
that was at Highland. That was at Highland Overlook. That was right after we were married.
Congratulations.
Sitting on the big rock at Highland Overlook.
Now, Gordon, while you're in the hot seat here, you had emailed me, very impressive, recently, an article, and it's got a picture of you as well, but this was about the Boone County 4th of July parade. Would you like
Yay! He did a great job.
He was going to lead that thing, wasn't he?
I was named the parade marshal, which surprised me, and I surprised them by wearing a John Paul Jones uniform that I used for the National Sojourners and the Heroes of '76. So I think I have emailed some of you that picture, but it was hot in that uniform, and the next day. That was on the 4th of July. And then on the 5th, I was in the Carmel Parade, which was a huge veterans recognition parade. And very hot, but it was very enjoyable too.
Where's Boone County?
I'm in Lebanon. I live in Lebanon. It's northwest of Indianapolis.
Okay.
I don't look Lebanese.
Don't get that confused with Booneville. Booneville's down the river from New Albany.
That's where Arnie Vogel's song most recently lived.
That's right. Bob Roberts, a few years back, I visited Eb Roberts. You knew him pretty well, didn't you?
Yes, I did.
Yeah, I know you did. And he and I chatted for ages, and he gave me, and I know you've got a copy of it too, a 1914 tour of English Indiana.
Oh, I have it.
I thought you had it, but I read through it again last night. It is so interesting. Eb was really down deep. He was a historian. He could very well remember all the things that were going on in early English Indiana.
Not only that, but you know, he was born in 09.
That's what he says. You're right.
Yeah, and how he could remember. Well, I guess kids could remember that because you were walking all the time then. You didn't ride through English, you walked.
Yeah. Let me read just 1 minute's worth of what he wrote here. He takes a stroll down Main Street in English in 1914.
Yeah.
And he reports what he's seen. It's about 9 o'clock on a warm, sunny Saturday afternoon. The town is already busy, and as we look down Main Street, we can see several horse and mule teams tied to hitch racks. There's even a team of oxen. No automobiles are in sight, but there are 3 or 4 in town. We might see one as we take this tour. One thing we notice that Main Street isn't paved, it's dirt and gravel. Muddy when it rains, dusty when it's dry. Also, the sidewalks are concrete, but they're not as wide as we're used to, and they're elevated. And he goes on, and he also talks about everybody in town has a hat on. Even every kid has a hat on. Every man has a hat on. Every woman has a hat on. And I've seen, if you've seen old pictures, almost everybody has a hat on in crowds.
It's true.
Well, you remember people back during the Depression waiting in the bread lines had a tie on, coat and tie.
Right.
And all the merchants wore ties.
Yep.
When I was looking through this deal, I saw deals had Austin's Recreation Hall, pool and bowling, shoe repair, and electric wiring.
Oh,
T.J. Hooley Austin.
You remember Hooley?
He had two alleys in there of duck pins.
Was that
3
upstairs?
pool tables.
Was that upstairs near the bank?
Downstairs.
No, it was right next to the bank.
Next to the bank, okay.
It was next to the bank. And it went all the way back to the alley.
Granddad, do you remember bowling alley in English?
Not much. I remember seeing it, yeah.
Yeah.
But I can't tell you much about it.
You guys mentioned about hats earlier. I remember when my father used to come and visit, he was always grumbling about none of the restaurants here had hat racks. Of course, he was the only one in the restaurant with a hat.
Yeah, well, that's right.
He never changed.
We had a fire grill when Mr. Beasley was upstairs. We started to go down the steps as we were supposed to, and Mr. Beasley turned and went back. He had to get his hat. He didn't want to go outside without his hat on.
And when Mr. Beasley came to church and he was counting, he always had his hat in his hand as he stood up in the back. And I don't know whether he was using it as a queuing technique so he knew exactly how many people were there or what. But you always saw him every Sunday, every service, he always took attendance. So that was interesting.
Church, right? Christian.
That's at the Christian church, yes.
That's where we went. That's where we went. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and that's where I met. Yeah, that's where Dad. Of course, your mom and Dad were there a lot, and so was Judy and all that. So the whole crew was all your aunts and uncles and everybody.
Yeah, you know, when I remember we got baptized in there. It was Marilyn Roberts, Marjorie Baker, Sandra Scowden, or not Sandra Scowden, Sandra Roberts, and Bob Gillen. We're the ones who got baptized that Sunday afternoon.
What year was that?
I don't know. I was about 8, I guess. To see, I was born in 36, so sometime in the 40s, I guess. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Did Blanche
And if you remember that baptistry looked like a bathtub because it was off to the side. Yeah.
I remember the water.
I remember that.
The water was cold. I know that.
I know it didn't. Those kind were not heated.
No, they weren't. Yeah. We all had to wear white. I had white pants and white shirt. Everybody had to wear white so we'd all be pure.
Now the Flanigans and the Megenitys, we weren't members of the Christian church. We were Methodists.
Yes.
We went to the Methodist church and they didn't waste water there. They just did a little sprinkling.
Yeah.
And that took care of it.
Well, wasn't that the Presbyterian church up over your house?
No, that was the Methodist.
Was that the Methodist? Well, the Presbyterian was down East 5th Street. That's right. Yeah.
Correct.
Presbyterian.
And
the Flanigans had with the Methodist church, the Flanigans had a great presence there with their,
they sure did.
With the building and everything.
John and Mike's grandmother went there. And of course, trying to think. Yeah, Martha Jane went there.
Ella Megenity went there, and her husband, Hester, would sit out in front, and the windows would be open, so he heard every sermon while he's reading his newspaper.
That's right. That's right.
I remember that.
I was the bell. Go ahead, Della.
Is Mary Edith still alive?
Yes, she is.
Okay.
Yeah, she's in an assisted living home in Clarksville.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
How old is she?
Well, she'd be about 87 now.
Oh, my.
You know, you were talking about the English Christian Church, and it was organized in October the 18 and 19. It was the third oldest Christian church in Indiana.
Wow.
Yeah, I've got a plate from my mother that I got on when she died. We got a bunch of stuff, and it's got a picture of the old church in there, and it says the date on there.
Well, my brother Ed painted a picture of the 4 churches there.
On plate?
And he started in with the first one they had, and it was started by a Kincaid in a log cabin, and most of the people were his kins. And I never did know anybody by the name of Kincaid in my coming up.
I don't know anybody there.
Me either.
But they tore it down and built a new one, right?
Went to Christian church all my life.
Yeah.
And was married there.
Yeah.
And my grandfather Lytle, remember Charles Lytle?
Yes, I do.
He was my mother's dad. And he, bought a car whenever. And he never learned how to stop it except to turn the key off and let it lurch until it stopped. So he would,
like me.
he would pick me up as a kid and take me to town with he and maybe Annie on Saturdays, and he always parked by Benz's store on the side there because he had lots of room. And when he stopped, he turned the key off, and we just until it stopped.
I was working at Bennett's filling station when I was in high school there, and this guy had a Model T, and he came in. He says he wanted a gallon of gas, a quart of water, and hold it while I get in, because Model Ts, once you cranked them up, they started creeping on you, and so you just put your hand out on it and keep it from moving.
Okay, I want to tell a story on Ron Kissel. Ron Kissel worked for Denny Bennett at the Standard Station there on East 5th Street, didn't you, Ron?
Yeah, your brother, I put the wrong thing in your brother's Oldsmobile.
Okay.
I remember that.
Oh, boy.
My brother had a new Oldsmobile, and around 51 or 52, he pulled in there and wanted the oil change. So Ron was the guy, new hiree, and he changed the oil, so he thought. And my brother got a few blocks down the street and started jerking, and he turned around, went back, and they checked. There was no oil, and he had drained all the oil out of the transmission and somehow didn't put any oil back. No, wait a minute. Maybe he doubled
up. I filled it up full of oil. Yeah.
Doubled up the oil on the real oil and left everything out of the transmission. So he took the drain plug out on the transmission.
I didn't even get fired. I didn't even get fired over that.
Well,
I do remember that well.
Yeah.
I had a little deal in the Sloan cabin that was built in 1816. The guy that probably the first one that came into English was built by James G. Sloan, who came from Bern County, Kentucky in 1814. And according to Art Sloan was his grandson. They walked New Albany carrying a muzzle-loading rifle and an axe. And at the time, there were very few roads, and early pioneers used trails. And while he was on one of the trails for his cabin site, he looked and he ran into 3 Indians roasting meat, but they hadn't seen him. And so he slipped away, so they did. But he found another valley where he had a suitable location. They walked to Vincennes and filed on 80 acres of government land and built a cabin. About 2 years later, in 1816, he built a larger cabin. And that cabin underwent various additions, and we had 2 or 3 fires out there with it. But it stayed in the Sloan family until 1977. 1985, the original log structure was sold to a real estate company in Bedford, where it was rebuilt and part of a pioneer village. And I don't know where they built it at. But I know we had fires there, and we didn't know it was a log cabin until we started tearing out some of the other things. And it was the original log cabin that was built in 18 and 16.
Wow.
Amazing.
Great.
How about all those plates behind you? You wash them, clean them up for the show? Go ahead, Gordon.
I wanted to mention that Friday I went to a luncheon, and it's a group that meets on Friday for lunch, and someone drove in that I knew, and he said, "Say, Gordon, I want to introduce you to Albert Bradshaw." I said, "Yeah, Albert, you went to high school with my sister-in-law."
Oh my!
Velma Cunningham at that time.
That since you said that
1945, he graduated.
How was he doing?
He's doing fine.
He doing fine. And said he maybe was getting along with King the last time I talked to him.
His wife died, I think, 5 years ago or something like that. But he was healthy enough to pick up a Heineken. I noticed that.
I tell you what, if you look there, then Steph, if you can get this picture, you might recognize some of them. But he is standing there beside Tiny's ear. Can you see the picture?
Here,
yes.
I'm gonna pin it so everyone can see it.
Bring it down just a hair.
Okay.
Right about there.
Right there, yeah.
I think I see Everett Mason in there.
What year is that? What year?
In 1945.
45.
Yeah. I just since you mentioned Albert, I thought you'd like to see that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
We still keep in touch.
That's good. No, he was doing fine on Friday. We had a nice conversation.
I'd like to also wish, I know I'm late, but I would like to wish Jeremy Flanigan great graduation for his master's in business because I know that is absolutely
good job, Jeremy.
Yes.
At South.
I know. Thank you, Tim. Thank you all. Here, I can do emojis. I can clap for myself. I don't know if you guys can see that.
Yeah.
I can see your emoji.
Now, are you still in Indiana, Jeremy?
I am still in Indiana. Yep, I've been down in Sulphur helping out my grandmother, Carol, come back to her farm and do some projects around the place. And so I'm able to work remotely. So I'm taking advantage of that. And
what's your goal?
Oh, well, that always changes, you know. I mean, I've got a couple of consulting contracts that I'm able to do from anywhere. So that's for right now what I want to do. I had a position at Indiana University South Bend that I was considering, and kind of went through the initial interviewing stages and then determined that it wasn't going to be right for me to commit to for 2 years. So I'm back in South Bend now, actually, to meet with a couple other people at IU. So I'll keep you posted. But for right now, I'm family for hire, basically. Family for volunteer.
How's Carol getting along over her fall?
She's doing great. Thanks for asking. She's got physical therapy and occupational therapy a couple times a week in New Albany. And she usually drives herself to that. So that gives you an idea that she's doing pretty well. And she did a lot of planting when we first got to the house, cleaned up the front flower bed, and got flowers from the Lutz's greenhouse in Sulphur. And so she's doing well, but there's big projects. The barn is in need of not just a new roof, but new siding, and there's quite a few trees that need to come down there. And she just recently purchased the property directly across from her in Sulphur, which includes the Wiseman Schoolhouse. And so we need to do some research on the historical significance and potential interest in that, maybe Indiana landmarks, if it's still structurally sound and there's still some original components. There's a rumor that the original chalkboard is there behind the drywall that's been put up when it was converted into a house. So to be determined, but if there's still a way to save it, and potential grant funds through the state, then she'd like to do that. But otherwise, it's a really overgrown property and would just have to be cleared, the whole lot.
Jeremy, is her brother still living?
Hoke Anson.
Yeah.
No, he passed away. Gosh, I'm not going to get the number of years correct, but he passed away a number of years ago.
I just wondered, but I know him when he was young.
Did you know him by Hokey?
Yeah, Hokey. Yeah.
Yeah. Rumor has it that was a nickname when he was very young. There was a ice cream called Hokey Pokey, and he loved it so much, and so that's where he got the nickname, and it stuck. And when he after he passed, there was a article in the Clarion, and my grandma, she was just telling me recounting the story the other day, but she spoke with the writer and said, basically the headline referred to Hoke, referred to him as Hoke. And she said to the writer, she said, "You're going to have to refer to him as Hoke, otherwise no one's going to know who you're writing about."
Yeah. He was in the military, I believe, right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. What was his rank in the military?
He was a brigadier general.
Oh,
that's
wow.
what I thought.
Yeah.
Right.
His name was Anson.
That's right.
Anson, yeah. Right.
Anson Wayne.
Yeah.
Is that right?
I think it was.
Who are we talking about?
We're talking about my grandmother, Carol Schultz's older brother. So there were four siblings. Two are still with us. My grandmother, Carol, and her youngest sibling, Jane. But we were talking about the one boy who's the oldest.
Yeah, he graduated from Leavenworth, didn't he?
Yeah.
And a lot of those people at Leavenworth knew him real well for the ice cream deal and everything.
Ah. So you corroborate the origin of that nickname then.
Jeremy, I wanted to ask you about the school. Is it in decent shape, do you think?
Well, I tell you, it looks rough, and at some point in not too distant history, someone started to do some work on the inside. So there's a lot of unfinished framing, and so we don't know what's behind that. So I'm not sure yet what. Put it this way, there was no home inspection done. It was just okay, let's do this, and kind of come what may. But and there was no engineer who to look at it either. So that's something that we'll have to do if there is indeed historical interest. I mean, my grandmother and all three of her siblings went through the 8th grade there.
Yeah.
And we're not sure how many one-room schoolhouses still stand in the county. I guess there might be more than meets the eye, because you maybe can't tell from the outside if they've been converted into or added onto or whatever.
Reason I asked,
Lutz's, you could probably talk to Janice Connor, who used to be a Lutz, and she would probably know. I imagine she's probably, I'm guessing she's probably in her 70s.
Yeah.
We had
number 10 out there. Wasn't that the one that B. Parks renovated and lived in it? Remember number 10 out there going toward Riddle? One-room schoolhouse out there. I think B. Parks bought that thing and renovated it and lived in it.
Well, this is right there in Sulphur.
Yeah.
He's out.
We had
Ron's talking out south of English. You took up there by Williams's, you took a road down there. What was the name of that thing? And David Shields and his wife, Anita Gregory, renovated that after Parks did, and really made that particular school very nice.
Yeah.
And so they're still living there.
Yeah, there's a old tomato canning factory down there too.
Yeah.
You remember that? Across the Shields.
Yeah, I used to go out there and pull tomato plants.
Yeah.
He raised a lot of tomato plants, and you had to put them in packages of 50. And he sold them.
No, Jeremy, back to the school again. The reason I was asking, they were getting ready about 25 years ago to tear down an old school in New Albany. Believe it or not, it was off a side street, a frame school, and a group of us got together that love history. We saved the school. We used historic landmarks. Greg Sekula.
Yes.
He was the guy that came in, gave us good directions. We restored it, did research on it. Come to find out, it's the oldest segregated Black school in the state of Indiana. It's on the National Register of Historic Places, and it's a very special school now. Now, they had been using it as a maintenance shop. The school corporation still owned it. And when we got it restored, by the way, we had to raise all the money ourselves. We had to raise $400,000. School corporation said, we'll let you have it for $1 a year, but you got to raise the money. It took us 5 years. We raised $200,000 and we went down to the gambling boat. We didn't gamble it, but we made a plea and they gave us one of those big giant checks for $200,000.
Oh,
so anyway, that that school is a very special place now. And a lot of people come from all across the state to see it. And we got a lot of help from Indiana Landmarks.
Yeah,
that will be on our tour, Vic. Right?
Absolutely. I'm going to show Gordon and Della. I'll show them Division Street School. It's now we didn't have any furniture for it because they'd been using it as a maintenance shop. So we put out a call, and somebody said, "I know where there's old school desks that every one of us in the pictures here went to." Down near Princeton, Indiana, north of Princeton, there's a little town called Patoka. Not Patoka Lake, but it's right on the Illinois border. And so we found a big old brick school that a lady owned. She let us in the building and said it was just like a time capsule. It had been abandoned since 1970. And there were all these desks. She said, "Oh, you can have anything in here you want." So,
oh, great. Great.
With desks, doors, slate chalkboards. And I wanted to tell you, we got a lot of slate chalkboards still left over, stored in the basement. So if you need any slate chalkboards in the restoration, we've got some.
Oh wow, that is.
Are there any pictures of
amazing? We'll talk more about that, Vic, and I'd like to see that school as well, and the Paget House and Fire Museum. So one of these, I understand Fridays are the day to get the guy who knows what he's talking about down there. So I'm gonna pop in with Carol, and we're gonna test you on how well you know the history of the place.
Okay, I can take you to three. I'm working in 3 museums: the Paget Museum in the West End of New Albany, the Division Street School Museum, and the Fire Museum over in Jeffersonville. And Bob Roberts really needs to come and see that fire museum where we have one of the oldest fire trucks in America. 1756 is when it was made.
My. Yeah. Okay, maybe we can include all of them in our "Your and My and Gordon" thing.
We'll see about that. Yes, we will.
Well, you set that up, Vic.
Della, where do you live now?
Maybe we'll have a whole bunch of people come on.
Yeah, Bob Roberts. We'll crash their party. What do you think? I'll drive us if you want. We'll be the Crawford County contingent.
Della, where do you live now?
I live in Salem, Indiana.
Where?
Salem.
Salem. Okay, yeah.
Where do you live?
I live in Duluth, Georgia, just north of Atlanta.
Oh, okay.
And I wanted to ask Melvin, how's the weather been out your way, Melvin?
Hot, like the whole West.
I know.
Just a little under 100 degrees right now. It's the famous dry heat of the West, but still, if you're in the direct sunlight, it's hot.
Yeah.
Where do you now live, Mel?
I live in the outskirts of Los Angeles, a small city called Calabasas, but it's just on the edge of Los Angeles.
Okay.
You and the Kardashians.
Did you get?
Yeah, right. I do.
Did you get the effects of the earthquake they had a few weeks ago?
No, we didn't feel that, but we've been through a couple of significant quakes in our time here.
Okay, I wasn't quite sure where it was centered at the time.
No, it's pretty far north of here. We didn't even feel it.
You are Melvin Beasley, right?
That's right, Della.
I remember Melvin Beasley and Bob Gillen used to get the car and they'd take unscrew the
speedometer cable.
Speedometer and run it around and bring it back so your dad wouldn't know how far you went.
Yeah, that's right. He checked.
Excuse me.
First time we took it, he checked the speedometer and he said, "Oh my Lord, where did you go?" You know, and so we learned better. But
and I have to tell a story on you too, because one time I know what we got into, I guess some peppermint schnapps, but Bob and I was trying to get you in the house without making any noise, and you fell over on the piano and when it banged on the piano and woke everybody up. You don't remember that, do you?
No, I do not remember it. Just as well.
Did you go to University of Louisville?
No, I went to University of Kentucky.
Kentucky, okay. Engineering, right?
Yeah, right.
Okay, I thought I remembered that, yeah.
Yeah.
That's
And I lived most of my life in Los Angeles now.
That's first time we've had anybody can tell something on you, Melvin.
Yeah, right.
That's pretty good.
Well, he only came in the summertime. He lived with his mother up in New Albany?
I went to grade school in New Albany, but then I went to high school in New Albany, and then I'd spend the summers in English.
Yeah, that's where he's come down. He'd come down for the summers.
Yeah.
Yeah, he had a green Pontiac, if I remember correctly, his dad did.
Yeah, he did. And you mentioned that about the speedometer cable. Bob and I had it out one night, and for a while we had a horrible time getting the cable back. And I thought, oh my goodness. And Bob finally managed to get it in, and we were a little nervous about doing that after that.
Well, I don't remember that.
Was your mother's name Thelma?
Who?
You. Was your mother's name Thelma?
No, it was Fern.
Fern. Okay. I remember where you live on North 5th Street. Is that what we call it?
East 5th Street. There wasn't any 1st, 2nd, 3rd, or 4th Street to my knowledge, but there was a 5th Street.
Right. I remember where you lived. Of course, I was a great friend of Doris B. Ferguson, and she lived next door to you, maybe, as we were kid friends, right?
Well, one of those streets up there is named Beasley Street or Beasley
Yeah,
Road.
Vic did that.
Is that right, Vic?
Yeah, I named all the streets in English that weren't named when I worked at the Census Bureau.
Oh, she had an N there. Okay.
Yeah, made my dad a legend in his own time.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah,
I'm trying to think. What did your dad used to say? He taught some kind of arithmetic class that the word was something. He'd say, "Everybody taking that take 2 sheets of paper and run the basement." What was that?
Everybody's taking physics.
Everybody's taking physics. Take a couple of sheets of paper and run to the basement.
Yeah.
I think it was follow me to the basement.
Bill saying that.
Yeah.
Bob, was he teaching there when you were in school? Was Bill Beasley?
Yeah, well, for the first 2 years, then he went to the Army.
Okay.
Bill went, he was in the First World War for a little bit of time, then he's in the Second World War, and he taught my mother and me.
Okay.
And she graduated in 33 and I graduated in 55, and he taught both of us.
Yes.
Yeah, he was in an organization called Retreads, which is World War I and World War II veterans. He was kind of proud of that.
Yeah.
When I was going through his effects, I remember when he got drafted, I was under the impression he got drafted in 1943. And I was going through his documents sometime before his 100th birthday party. It turns out he didn't even have to go. It turns out that the newspaper article said he was the sole support of a son, and therefore he could have applied for a deferment, but he wanted a little excitement. He wanted a little break in his routine there and, get out of that town.
Maybe he wanted to get away from someone.
Yeah, he did. He did.
After he retired, he was going to travel in Europe some, and he knew I'd been in the Navy, and I was home on leave once, and he came over and talked to me and wanted to know some of the interesting places to go in Europe. And I told him some of the places. I think he went there. Yeah.
One more thing about Bill Beasley. When I moved to Hope, Indiana, I had a typing teacher. I forget her name now. And she talked to me one day and said, "Are you from English, Indiana?" I said, "Yeah." She said, "You know Bill Beasley?" And I said, "I sure do. I think he's the nicest guy." And come to find out, Mr. Beasley dated this lady somehow. I don't know how they got hooked up, but he dated her. She was a nice looking lady.
He was probably known and appreciated and liked more than any teacher in English.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right.
He used to drive us.
Smart. Very
He used
smart.
to drive us to the ball games on Friday night when we played out of town. a bunch, if we didn't ride in the buses, a bunch of people would take us in their cars, and he was riding his car. I remember several times at a Pontiac to go play like down in Troy, Indiana, and places like that.
Granddad, do you remember Bill Beasley?
Absolutely. Very well.
Did he teach you?
Yes.
What subject?
Mathematics.
Yep.
I don't think there's anybody in English Indiana for 40 years that didn't have him as a teacher.
All right.
I remember Granddad always thought of him and spoke of him very highly.
Yep.
Yeah, he taught
I was
34 years, I think.
I know one thing, he was very frugal, and he wouldn't put a pencil in the pencil sharpener because it ate up too much of the pencil. He would use a pocket knife.
Oh boy.
Well, he retired in 1966, and I started high school in 66, and so I missed him. But I was so disappointed, and the person they hired was absolutely in la la land. It was a fellow that had been retired. They couldn't replace him.
11 kids from my family went to English high school, and a good number of those took Bill Beasley's classes.
Yeah.
We had to. You had to take Algebra 1. That was required. So that's what he used to teach. So we had to take it.
All right, folks, I hate to break up the spirited conversation. We're at the hour, and I'm just looking at next month. The second Sunday falls on the 8th. So Sunday, August the 8th is when we'll meet again.
Thank you, Jeremy. Okay. We appreciate you so much.
Thank you,
Jeremy.
Back at
you. You know, I was gone so much, you know, in the Navy for 33 years. And so I never was around. And probably, I tell you, Vic, we were buddies, but I probably went 40 years before we ever seen each other.
That's right.
But I really enjoy this. I really do.
Okay.
Good.
Gordon and Della, I'll be talking to you right away.
We'll get together, okay, Vic? We'll get together.
Yeah, we will. I'll talk to Gordon and you, Della, and we'll have a class reunion real soon.
Okay, thanks. Bye.
Take care, everybody.
Okay, bye-bye.
Thank you, Jeremy.
Bye, everybody.
Bob.
Jeremy, can you turn me off? My daughter's not here. I don't know how to turn this thing off.
Yeah, I'll end it for everybody.
The kids educate us.
And scene.